What's up guys, Coach Highway from GameLeap here, and in this video today we are going to be covering 6 reasons that cause many people, maybe even yourself included, to be hard stuck in Season 1 of Overwatch 2. Before we get into today's video, however, the best way to get unstuck out of your rank is to come check out our new website, where we constantly are updating and launching new educational content, ready to help you climb and give you a wealth of knowledge to grow and improve with. Be sure to click this link right here in order to get your subscription and learn step by step from pro coaches how to push your rank higher and higher. Okay, so getting right into it, we have reason number 1, and possibly the most important reason for being stuck: blaming teammates. Blaming teammates is always a great way to relieve a little bit of stress, but if you're someone who actually wants to climb up the ranks, you have to learn to stop getting distressed over your teammates' performance for a whole list of reasons. For starters, it tilts you and brings you down alongside them, which will only serve to make the difference even larger and make it more difficult to win not only this game, but possibly your next one as well if you can't untilt. It makes you more likely to outwardly express your disgust with your teammates' performance, which may cause arguments that then lead to throwing or AFKing or leaving, and that's going to make things even worse. Worst of all, it can actually distract you from analyzing your own gameplay and trying to adjust your strategy and approach. A lot of the times when you have a bad teammate, you can get into a give up mentality, and when you die in really dumb spots or start pushing stupid angles, or you miss heals, or you're overextended, you may end up not realizing why your mistakes are happening or that they're even mistakes in the first place. Just remember, there is a reason why myself and pretty much any other top 500 player is capable of playing in the majority of ranks with a 70% win rate despite our teammates, and it's not because we're simply naturally gifted or have some kind of special queue as some people believe. It's because our vision for the game is detailed and lots of time has been spent learning and understanding the game, which is doable by anyone. Anybody can do that. By watching videos like this and by playing and focusing on yourself, you will continue to build upon your pool of knowledge and skills, and you will slowly see yourself climb upwards until teammates don't become a problem or you start plateauing at your next resting point, in which case you just continue to find the weak spot and break through your own barriers. Remember to always look inward first. Our second reason is having a one-size-fits-all approach. This more or less means that you see every fight the same way as far as win conditions go. When trying to carry each fight, you may find yourself trapped in the cycle of always finding a weird angle to get a pick, or just trying to pressure out one target or trade 2 enemies for yourself. This is obviously going to be good in a lot of cases and will lead to carrying some games. However, let me ask you, and this is genuinely a bit of a quiz here, which of these 2 plays is more powerful? Throwing out a Graviton Surge and hitting 2 enemies that you get kills on, or using your Graviton Surge to freeze a Nanoblading Genji in place and stop him from wiping your team? If you answered hitting the Nanoblading Genji, then you would be correct. The difference is, of course, that you're not only trading 1 ult for 2, but also turning a fight that has a huge likelihood of losing into a winning one, as well as securing 1 vital pick. Every single fight is going to have some kind of deciding moment or ultimate, so be sure to take a broader look at each of them before you go in, and rather than simply ask, how do I get 2 picks here, or how do I land the flank here, or how can I get a fat anti-nade, how do I dive there, blah 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 blah, depending on whatever role you're on, really think about who and what on their team is going to be crucial in the next fight, and focus on applying as much pressure to that as you can. Be creative, think outside the box, and maximize your own value instead of going for the same repeat plan fight after fight. Do not autopilot. Plus, altering how you approach different fights will also leave the enemy guessing and generally make you a more dynamic player. Alright, that's 2 reasons down, and I have to ask, are you enjoying my list so far? If so, please be sure to like and subscribe for more educational content, and leave me some feedback in the comments down below. Okay, let's get back to it. Moving up in our list, our third reason is getting greedy with your value. Do you ever see a Genji on your team go in, get 2 big picks, and then proceed to feel like he's in the groove and dash into the enemy backline just to get killed? Or what about that Widowmaker who gets a nice kill and then grapples into the middle of their team just to die going for a sick headshot? Or maybe an Ana who's been hitting good grenades and ends up peeking into a DPS angle over a ledge or something and then gets killed for it because she's standing out in the open. These are all very common situations, and they all have a through line. The player got too greedy chasing their value. It is important to understand when you have gotten enough value to win a fight off of, and that you need to just be smart about your timing and not feed because you feel like you're getting into it. Just remember that realistically, to win each fight, you usually have a list of very simple ways to do it. Getting a pick or 2 is one good way, or landing a huge anti-nade or a huge grab etc. Remember the second rule that we went over in this video and apply it, and don't try your luck by going for unnecessary follow-up that has a high chance of you feeding. Keep your eyes on the prize. Moving into our fourth reason, we have the lack of understanding ultimates and the law of averages. Okay, so just quick nerd speak. The law of averages just means that the more tries you give something, the likelier it is to get your expected result. If you flip a coin, you may get heads 3 times in a row, even if the chances are 50-50. But if you flip a coin 10,000 times, you're almost certainly going to get heads and tails, a number at roughly 5,000 to 5,000. Okay, so why is it important to know this? Because a lot of newer players tend to wait for the perfect moment to go for their ultimate in games, and they miss tons of smaller but good opportunities in the meantime. If you hold your Dragon Blade, or any ultimate for that matter, for the perfect setup it may take a long time. You may end up holding onto your ultimate for 2 to 3 team fights before you finally use it, and there's a good chance something unexpected will happen and ruin it for you. The law of averages applies here because instead of holding your ult for the perfect moment, you can find a decent, even if not optimal time to use it and build another quickly, which makes you more likely over the course of a game to have good ultimates. You obviously do not want to just keep throwing your ult out there and wasting it, even if it's a really horrible situation, but generally speaking, I don't keep my ults for more than 1 team fight at most. Get better at seeking out those good opportunities and going for them, and with the right skills and knowledge, you may only need a good opportunity to get a team kill. It'll serve as good practice, and as I mentioned, it'll make you better over the course of a game against the unexpected. You may even end up having every ultimate be a great play, which means if you're throwing out a ton of them, you'll be carrying even harder. Okay, our 5th reason is not having a strong backup hero. This is not by any means intended to shame one-tricks. However, if you're being honest, you know that one-tricking does in fact put you at a disadvantage. Rarely does any character have an answer for everything, and when they do, you can generally expect nerfs to be coming their way from right around the corner. Not having a backup character generally means that all of your eggs are in one basket, and if you go against a player who happens to play a counter to you, or a team that is simply pressuring you and you can't find a good way to play your main hero against them, then you'll find yourself on the losing end of many situations. Try to get a solid backup hero that will help you shore up the weaknesses of your main character. For example, if you main someone like Torbjorn, you can expect that Pharah will counter you pretty hard if you come across one. So consider picking up a hero like Cassidy or Soldier who counter Pharah pretty hard and thus give you a good option for what to do in those games that leave you feeling shut down. And our final reason, which actually goes hand in hand with the 5th reason, is flexing too hard. Okay, wait. Isn't it good to have backup heroes in a diverse hero pool? Well, yes, but the problem is that until you get to a point where you are playing at a high level on your main hero, adding more things to learn is only going to serve to hold you back. There's not really a way for someone to practice every single W hero individually. It's more about starting on a couple of heroes and using the learned fundamentals to then pick up the rest one at a time. Not only would you be hindering your own growth as a player, but if they have, say, a good Pharah and you switch to Cassidy with no idea how to play him well, you're going to get rolled. This is because that good Pharah has played against people who do main Cassidy in their other games, and they have likely learned how to adapt and overcome. So if you come in with 5 minutes of quick play on cast, guns a-blazing, and you try to outplay someone who has potentially hundreds of hours of practice on Pharah, you're very likely to get swamped. It can be hard to ignore the pressure of your team yelling at you or flaming you to switch, but you should know your limits and don't try to force an uncomfortable position for yourself, even if the character you intend on switching to is a hard counter. And again, it's not about learning every hero one at a time. For myself, I have an extremely diverse and in-depth hero pool, and most of them I don't really play all that much. It's just about understanding the fundamentals and knowing what makes a good DPS at a GM level, and then applying that. Either way, that's going to cover all the mistakes for this video that I see leaving people hard stuck in their rank. I hope you learned something and focus on avoiding these very common mistakes yourself so that I can see you at GM soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, take care, and peace. Oh, and like the video.